Hey, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com. Does Navy Federal Credit Union have a late night hack that can help you get approved for their credit cards easier and get you higher credit lines? We are going to talk about it, but first I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you've not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So about a week and a half ago I did a video talking about which credit unions and banks give out the highest starting credit lines or credit lines as you go along on your credit cards, and I said that Navy Federal Credit Union has the sort of best reputation for giving out the highest credit lines. And then somewhere along the way someone asked me about this late night hack, if this was a way to get approved easier and if this was a way to get even higher credit lines from Navy Federal Credit Union. And if you don't know what this late night hack is, it is the idea that if you apply for a Navy Federal Credit Union credit card between sort of 11 o'clock at night and 4 or 5 in the morning, that you have a better chance of being approved for one of their credit cards and a better chance of getting a higher credit line on one of their credit cards. And so the idea here is that supposedly after around 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night, the Navy Federal Credit Union credit card department sort of closes down for the evening, and if you apply for a card after that, you are going to be only getting sort of the computer algorithm that is going to be doing an automatic approval and decision on your application, and you aren't going to have any humans sort of taking a second look to see about your approval, and thus you are going to have an easier time being approved and getting a higher credit line because there's no human to look at it and say, oh no, this is a mistake. Now the thing about the late night hack is it's impossible to prove or disprove. Some people have said yes, this has worked for them. They had maybe a lower credit score, or they tried to get something from Navy Federal, 2 months earlier, and now they suddenly tried this late night hack and at 3 a.m. they got approved for something, and so this sort of proves that the late night hack works, but there is no way to know what would have happened if they had applied for the same thing at 2 p.m. or 5 p.m. or 8 p.m. or whatever. So we cannot say for sure. That said, I don't buy it. To believe in the NFCU late night hack, you have to believe that the largest credit union in the country with over $100 billion of assets has a credit card department where the humans leave at 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. They turn off the lights and they say, okay, algorithm, it's up to you. Do a good job for us tonight. They come back in the morning and they just start sending out the credit cards based on whatever the algorithm did overnight without checking any of it out. That seems a little hard to believe, doesn't it? Again, the largest credit union in the country. This is not a local, teachers credit union or utility workers credit union or whatever. This is a huge credit union that is all across the country for military members and their families. They have millions of members. I can't imagine they run their business this way. I mean, if you were going to decide that for 6 to 8 hours a night, it was just up to the computers to decide who gets approved and how much of a credit line they are getting approved for, why not just do it all the time? Why would you have 18 hours where you have humans sort of doing some oversight on the computers and then have this large window of time where someone could just come in and the computer would make a decision and no one would question it and the credit cards would start going out? Now what I will buy is that Navy Federal Credit Union, like a lot of the largest, maybe all of the largest credit card issuers, does a lot of automatic approvals that the computer makes the decision and no human is ever part of that decision. But they don't do that just for some period overnight because there's nobody around in the office to take a look. They do it because they have set up systems where they decide that if people meet a certain number of criteria, then they are going to be approved, and depending on what those criteria are and how they've set up their algorithm, they're going to be approved and approved at a certain level in terms of a credit line. So you could sort of think of it as sort of, gates that could go across and either let you through or stop you along the way. So, maybe they set up a system, the first line of defense is credit score. If you're below a certain credit score, the gate comes and you're probably just going to be rejected right off the bat. If you can kind of swim through that gate, you'll get to the next gate where maybe they look at what your income is, and if your income is enough, maybe you get to keep going. If not, maybe you're rejected, or maybe you're pushed off to the side for someone to take a closer look at you. If you get through, maybe they then look at the number of credit cards you have gotten over the last year, or the amount of available credit that you have overall. However they set it up, there's sort of these gates that you are swimming through, and if you can get through each one of these gates to the top, well then finally you will just get the automatic approval. They don't need a human to take a look at it. However, if one of those gates goes across because you didn't meet the criteria, well then you sort of get whisked off your application, at least gets whisked off to the side, and that is when a human would have to take a look at it. And that process is going to be the same regardless of what time of day it is. If you meet the criteria for an automatic approval, you're going to be automatically approved regardless of what time of the day it is. Even if there is someone in the credit card department, they're not going to take a look at your application if the algorithm says that you made it through all those gates, all those tripwires that maybe would have stopped you. At the same time, if it's after business hours and your application has something that says this person did not make it through the gate, did not make it through whatever our next criteria was, well then that application is going to be pulled off to the side, and nothing is going to be done about it until an actual human can do a manual review of it. So there isn't going to be any time where a big credit card issuer is just going to say, well, we're done for the day, so we'll just hope for the best. So again, I'm not like Mythbusters here. I can't prove or disprove for sure whether the NFCU late night hack is or ever was a real thing, but it really doesn't make any sense. It's sort of that old phrase, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. This feels like it fits under that. I would love to hear your thoughts, whether you have used this hack and you think it actually did work for you, or whether you tried it and it didn't work for you. Put those comments in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching, and as always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thanks for watching. Bye.